Hello, members, and welcome to a special IMAA recording of with Ipsos. Ipsos are going to walk us through their new Iris, which is their new digital ratings program, which they're building in conjunction with the IAB. I'm going to hand over to Brian Hogan, who's the commercial lead over at Ipsos, and he's also going to be joined by Natalie Stanbury, who's the research director. So over to you guys.
Thanks, Sam. No worries. Thank you to the members and leaders for your time. So, as Sam said, I'm Brian Hogan. I'm the commercial lead at Ipsos. Natalie Stanbury is the research director at IAB. Ipsos Iris is the new IAB-endorsed digital rating system. That's what we're here to talk about. Before I get right into the depths of it, I'm going to play you a short video that, if you saw nothing else, hopefully would be the elevator summary as to what we've built.
Ipsos Iris is the new IAB Australia endorsed digital audience rating system and the single source of truth for digital audience measurement in Australia, bringing a new level of accountability and transparency, as well as rigorous world-class methodology. Proven and established in the UK, Australian developed innovations include cross-platform video measurement and off-platform audience integration to demonstrate the true reach of digital content. Our core is a people-based, single-source and multi-device passive measurement panel, supplemented by first-party census data to create a self-contained system that is privacy-secure and future-facing. Ipsos Iris delivers better audience insights on location, age, social and professional profile, as well as attitudes and purchase interests. Accessing insights is now easier with an intuitive user interface for all reports and analysis. And Ipsos Iris is designed from the ground up for integration with media ecosystems. Ipsos Iris, the IAB-endorsed digital audience ratings currency for Australia.
So that's the agenda of what we're going to cover today. Talk about the new currency, the method, and very importantly, what we have to offer to IMAA members exclusively. But before I do that, I'm going to hand over to Natalie, who's going to take you through a little bit about the background and the context of what we've built. Natalie.
Thank you, Brian. The IAB are very pleased that the launch of Ipsos Iris means access to transparent and independent media planning data can recommence. Iris provides agencies accountability for media investments and the robust data to evaluate opportunities consistently across all digital media. The appointment of Ipsos as the industry-endorsed provider is the culmination of extensive work by the IAB and the industry that commenced back in 2021 with a strategic review of industry requirements for industry content measurement. This review formed the basis of standards and specifications, which were the basis of a tender, which we invited measurement vendors to submit their services for evaluation. The IAB's objective with this tender process was to endorse new standards aligned with the evolving needs of the industry, particularly in light of the increased focus on privacy and changing consumer behaviour. Ipsos was awarded the IAB's endorsement, having best met all of the methodology, reporting and operational standards, along with a very exciting future roadmap of developments. Ipsos have built Iris from the ground up for the Australian market. And last year, the IAB's Measurement Council rigorously assessed the quality of 6 months of preview data and have endorsed the release of monthly data from January. So Brian's going to continue to introduce you to Iris and how this single source of truth can deliver confidence for media planning decisions.
Thanks, Nat.
Brian.
Yeah. So let's talk about what's new and improved, first of all. As you would expect, it meets the new standards. Some of the challenges that we were tasked with addressing in particular was the issue of duplication of audience. Now, I know I'm talking to media professionals, so you obviously understand what that means, but in essence, we're talking about the fact that in some cases, the same person can be counted twice or more if the measurement system doesn't recognize there are various multiple devices come from the same person. We address that through the single source panel, which I'll speak to in a little bit more detail in a moment. So that the removal of duplication obviously has the impact of reducing or potentially reducing audience in some cases. However, we have included and extended the scope of distributed content or off-platform measurement, as it's sometimes referred to, in particular Apple News. We're doing a direct integration of Apple News data, and we can see already that that's had a significant impact on growing the audiences of some publishers who use Apple News extensively, and we've also got other social media embedded browser audience data included as well. We've improved the profiling of the audience through a range of questions, behavioral and interest questions that, again, you will see if you trial the data. You can see that in detail. The age range has been extended. We now have people 14 plus, which is a big improvement on what went before. And obviously the youth audience is terribly important for many advertisers. From a practical point of view, we have a single user interface, which may sound like no big deal, that it's incredibly obvious that that's what you should have, but the previous system didn't. So that's a practical improvement. And as Nat mentioned, we have a really exciting roadmap of innovations coming later this year with the inclusion of cross-platform video coming from both YouTube and from Oztam, but I'll talk to that in a tiny bit more detail as we get through. One thing that I should mention at this point, and we always try to stress it, is that needless to say, due to these many and various methodological changes, it is a trend break from what went before. Now, there's many different sources of measurement in the market, but the bottom line is, unless you're comparing the same data being measured the same way, you're always going to get a different number. So we can't stress enough how important it is that agencies and publishers and anybody who uses this data appreciates the fact that there is now a new data set and it is a trend break in the market. What you'll find on a practical basis is that relativities are frequently pretty similar to what went before, but the individual numbers obviously can be fairly different in some cases. Talking about media agencies, I mean, we're looking here at some specific benefits to the media agency sector. Excuse me. I think the chief among these is confidence in the system. It's terribly important, both from the IAB point of view, but also from the whole media ecosystem, agencies, publishers, advertisers, that everybody subscribes to a single source of truth, and that this gives greater confidence in the system from a buying and a selling point of view. Obviously, accurate data from a media agency point of view, and specifically more granular data, which is what we're talking about in terms of Ipsos Iris delivering, allows greater effectiveness in terms of media planning for your clients. The inclusion of video obviously is going to be a bit of a game changer in terms of having all of that video data available in the one place, overall improving the targeting and effectiveness. And later this year, and not too far away, we'll be able to talk to agencies specifically about integrating a what we call a synthetic population data set, which is really a respondent level database that you can integrate into your own data management systems to improve how you do things in terms of targeting and so on. But that's a conversation for another day. It's just to let you know that that is a capability that we will be bringing to you. Media owner, I won't dwell upon this because this is your strategic partners effectively in terms of benefits. Obviously, it's all about a greater depth of understanding of the audience, the level of detail that we can see in terms of the consumer journey from one set of content to another enables media owners to really understand and develop new insights in what their audiences are seeking. Advertisers, brands, obviously the people who pay Ultimately, many of the bills for the businesses that we live in, again, allows the advertisers to understand their consumers better. And as you would know from your own IMAA agency experience, many advertisers are very active in terms of building out their own consumer data sets, looking at the detail of media, and really want to lean in and understand exactly how to plan and develop efficient and effective investment strategies for media. I mentioned methodology. This is very high level. As you'd appreciate, most media currencies need an establishment survey to quite literally establish the universe that we're measuring. So we do this with 1,000 people a month survey that asks people about their internet behavior, the sort of devices they use, the sort of systems on those devices, what subscriptions they have. And this enables us to scale the data from the panel in an accurate way. So I mentioned up front that one of our biggest innovations was a single source panel. So quite literally, this means that anybody who's on our panel of 4,000 people is required to have at least 2 devices providing continuous tracking of their digital behavior. So typically, everybody will have submitted their smartphone for measurement, and usually they'll have a laptop or a PC or possibly even a tablet as well. And this is the primary way, excuse me, the primary way we remove the duplication. It's passive on-device measurement, so they're not sending us data. Obviously, we don't have visibility of their private data. It's all completely privacy compliant, and these people have volunteered to participate through payment. The third part is tagging, obviously, of the publisher websites and content. We tag throughout the entire content hierarchy, so we have sectional data, and this provides us with the census level data where we know exactly what the scale is of traffic to individual websites. So panel and tag data together gets integrated and processed by our data science team. They also are responsible for integrating external data sources such as Apple News. And when we get the YouTube data and the CTV data, they will do that as well. So it's a very thorough process. And I might mention, because I don't think we mentioned it up front, that one of the reasons I think why Ipsos was successful in our tender was that this method and this approach has been established in the UK. We have been the national digital measurement body for 2 years over there. So we had effectively a year's worth of a proven track record to show that the methodology works. And I think that gave a level of comfort, but also enabled us to get to market possibly quicker than companies who were starting from scratch. I know a year is a long time, but in the world of setting up a new audience measurement system, it's lightning fast. So just to touch on the metrics, and I know that Sam will send you a copy of this. So, and on our website, we've got detailed breakdowns. It's everything you sort of expect and more, from daily traffic to monthly audience data. We'll have weekly audience data later in the year. Text currently, but obviously video will be added as a separate metric once the CTV data is included. And so on, demographics and profile. I'm not going to show you everything that's in there right now because that wouldn't be practical, but there is some really rich data that allows you to profile the audiences. Data access and support. We're basically set up to have as many logins from agencies as a subscribing agency chooses. We have training program already underway. You might be interested to know that from an agency point of view, we have trials underway they're underway or planned with all of the 5 holding companies, and also one of the IMAA members also got in there really early to get some preview data. So we're very keen to get you guys engaged and for you to take up the opportunity of a trial and training and test drive the system and see what you make of it. This is just a mention again of some of the things that we've got coming in the pipeline. I won't dwell upon that because we've talked about. The one thing that is exciting, obviously, is the CTV integration of OzTam data. YouTube as well is part of that integration. The digital landscape report is something that's available to subscribers in depth. This is really a macro trend report that we publish quarterly, primarily sourced from the establishment survey that looks at, the big high-level trends within digital behavior in Australia as they happen. Now, IMAA, let's get to the exciting bits. Free trial. So that means that basically if you and your agency want to try out the data and the UI for a period of time, we'll enable that at no cost without obligation. Last year, I shared with Sam, and I believe he shared with many of you, the rate card that Ipsos was putting forward for the IMAA agencies. We think it's extremely competitive. We know it is. And I think the really important part here is to make sure, comparing like with like in terms of what's included. There's a high level of service, there's very deep data, and it's unlimited access. So we would feel confident that our rates stack up against any other vendor. And I mean, the fact of the matter is that this is the currency data now. So we think it's important that all parts of the agency ecosystem has access to this data. To get the ball rolling, we're very happy to do either in-depth or high-level presentations to individual agencies. You can just contact me and we'll arrange that. So basically what I'm talking about today, but obviously in a little bit more detail, and we can fine-tune it for the individual client set. So if you're interested in finance or auto, whatever. And as I mentioned, the UI training and unlimited logins are all included, and ongoing support. So to conclude, just to let you know that we do have a trade website with a lot of the data in there, not the data obviously, but a lot of the methodology. Some use cases. We'll add to this over time, a lot of questions that you might have about how things are done. The best way to follow up is to contact me personally at my Ipsos email, brian.hogan@ipsos.com, and we can have a conversation about a demo, about a free trial, about rates, and let's hopefully get some momentum into this. I think it's terribly important. As Sam has told me many times, the IMAA represents, is it 52% of the market? So we're already talking to the other 48. We'd love to have you involved across the board. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Nat, as well, for joining us. And thank you for sharing the latest and greatest of what's happening in the world. We'll share the deck around and also connect. If no one's got Brian's details, we can connect you. Thanks, members. Talk to you soon.
See you guys. Bye.
Thanks, Sam. Thank you.
Oh, well, he said goodbye anyway.